Hi there, I am Sarah Kolis. Welcome to the Dressing Up podcast, where we talk about all things bridal, dresses, and general dressing up topics. I love to encourage women to dress up while expressing their personal style with confidence on how to do so. Visit sarahkolis.com to book a bridal alterations fitting or even inquire about designing the custom couture bridal gown of your dreams. I'm so excited to talk to you about this next topic. Let's get started. Okay, welcome back to another podcast episode. This one is all about FAQs that I receive in person in the studio. So if you have questions on bridal alterations, specifics about our services, you can go to our website. We have an FAQ page on there, as well as emailing us with any questions that you have. This episode specifically is just about the just for fun questions that I get while the bride's changing and the mom is asking me questions, or while I'm painting her dress, asking questions. Just the frequently asked questions that I answer and receive all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through them one by one. So this is all just for fun. Okay, so the biggest one I get, you enter into this studio. In fact, I'm going to show you around a little bit if you're watching on YouTube. You enter through the front door, and people are often really wondering where they are because this is just kind of an unusual situation. I totally get it. So the question I get asked a lot, which you're right, was this a garage before? Bingo, previous homeowners, Merlin and Mary, built this garage in 1998 as an extra wide, extra deep, extra tall, 2-story, 3-car garage. You can only imagine my excitement seeing this one listed on Zillow in 2022. We bought this house specifically for the garage, but of course I also love the property and the house as well. We made a few tweaks to it in 2024 to design it into the most beautiful private bridal studio where I could let my life's dreams run wild. On the main floor, we have 2 fitting rooms, a coffee bar, a bathroom, an extra vanity sink, storage room, and a large enough living space to occasionally host photo shoots and workshops. I really don't need this big of a space here, but I did this so that we are able to use this open space for photo shoots, specifically designed it to put in a white paper backdrop. So it's large enough for that, and then for the photographer to stand far away, as well as just hosting workshops and whatever else we want to do. Let me tell you, this space has been a journey of a lifetime. Everything I've ever worked for in my entire life was for this space in mind and is a living image of all of my dreams coming true. Next question I get. Oh, so this is new. Yep. Before this, I worked out of my husband and I's cute little adorable ranch house in Novi, and I missed that so much. It was so sweet and cozy. But my business was taking over the entire house, so we needed to move for more space. Before that, I worked humbly out of my parents' basement. They made me a little office room down there while they were finishing their basement in 2014-ish. If you are a bride listening to this that had alterations done with me in my parents' basement, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. And I am so sorry if that felt cringy. We all have to start from somewhere, right? But it was so great. My parents are amazing for giving me that space. So here we are now, final location. I am never moving. That's the plan, at least. Another one people say all the time, oh my gosh, this studio is so cute. Did you design it yourself? Thanks. I realize it's quite shocking when you walk in the door. You're like, where the heck am I? This is so fun. This is so bridal. This is so girly. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love it too. We have so much fun in here. The design style mostly stemmed from a bridal Sarah Kolisified version of 1950s couture Paris. Boy, would I have loved to have been alive for that. So I brought it to the present into the wonderful Metro Detroit, Michigan. Not many of this kind left in the world, let alone in the US. I did want to name this the Sarah Kolis Couture Atelier as a more rightful name. However, I know it is hard to pronounce, so studio is a much better sounding word for that. My unrealistic dream job would have been working directly for Christian Dior himself. Christian Dior is certainly my favorite brand of all time, specifically in the time that he actually owned it. I did do all of my design work in here in the studio, all while in the process of moving, running my business full-time, planning my sister's wedding, all at the same time. So certainly decision fatigue was maxed out. So I understand that feeling when you brides come walking in. First of all, I mean, I've been married before. I know that decision fatigue is a real thing, but it really, really, really was real when I was building this studio space. So there's a lot of decisions to be made, but I feel like I made those decisions quickly and I'm really happy with how it turned out. In another life, I would have loved to have been an architect and or interior designer, but there's still time, right? Okay, next one. Aw, I love the molding details. Me too, girl. Me too. Okay, so I'm gonna turn, if you're on YouTube, you can kind of see this. Okay, kind of hard to see on video, but you'll totally see it when you come to the studio. There is this molding and kind of like this rectangle shape up here with these little pieces on either side. Okay, so story time. My husband and I visited Paris right before we started construction on the studio, and I was far too busy with work to get my nails done before our trip. Our hotel was right next to an adorable Parisian nail salon. Ladies, I cannot recommend this enough. Get your nails done in Paris and cringe when they laugh at you asking for a French manicure. I don't even know what you're supposed to say. They were laughing so hard. But anyway, I'm going to show you, all of you on YouTube watching here, a picture on my phone of this exact molding in that Paris salon. Okay, so here's that photo. What we're looking at is the molding right here. See that molding? Okay, that's me getting my nails done. I was staring at that wall for like 2 hours. And after we left the nail salon, I told him, please tell me you took a photo of me while I was in there. And thank God he did. That's kind of unusual for him to do. But I was referencing that photo so many times while building the studio because it just nailed the molding design for the studio. I thought it was a nice little molding detail that was a little bit feminine and just different. Leads me to my next question. Did your husband help with constructing the studio? I wish, but no, he does not find much enjoyment in construction projects. We hired our main contractor, Jamil, with MMC Remodeling based in Novi. He was fantastic and went along with all my unusual ideas and desires and hit it out of the park. So thank you so much, Jamil. My dad, Don Kolis, helped with all the electrical work along with some of his friends. My dad also helped with various small projects throughout. I actually have a YouTube video showing a glimpse of the unfinished process if you ever want to check it out. People really love that video, so you can just go to my YouTube page and try to find it. Next question, what's upstairs? So typically, if you're coming in for bridal alterations, there's really no need for you to be coming upstairs. Typically, you stay on the main floor. Whenever I get asked that question, it's like, well, I need to get the sewing work done somewhere, right? I don't know what it is, but people always think sewing doesn't take up that much space, but it does. So upstairs, we have an additional VIP fitting room. This is kind of messy right now. We're building a dress form in here right now. This couch I got in an estate sale that my best friend's little sister that I grew up with happened to buy that house that estate sale was from in Northville. So kind of fun story there, but I'm obsessed with that couch. And then we also have our sewing area for Erin. This is where Erin sews. She's got that heavy duty industrial sewing machine there, which has a fun backstory. That sewing machine was actually in the David's Bridal that her and I worked at during our summers of college. So it's a very full circle moment. Someday I want to do a very full and complete YouTube video, just sharing the whole studio space and giving you a very full, complete tour. So if you're listening to this podcast episode in a few months, hopefully I will have a YouTube video up about that. So maybe search for it. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you a quick glimpse. We've got our ironing area right here. Lots of great windows everywhere up here. It's amazing. I have always sewn in the basement before this. So I said my final sewing destination needs to have a really awesome view. To my left, I have lots of dress storage here for all the dresses that we're actually working on. Throughout the studio, I have different areas of dresses on display. This one happens to be my sister's maid of honor dress for my wedding. Got some photos next to it. So I kind of swap these out a lot throughout the whole studio. Basically, if you see anything on the dress form, I most likely made it from scratch. Okay, so this is my sewing area. Love this space, love that window. It is so gorgeous all times of the year. I get to see so much wildlife out there, deer and turkey, and there's a gopher that sometimes comes by if you're lucky and see it. It is absolutely amazing. I love sewing here and looking out the window. Then behind me, we have the cutting area right here, big cutting table. You'll see that new embroidery machine that we have. I am obsessed with it. Bridal and embroidery go hand in hand. So it's been amazing to personalize things for brides. I've got some fabric storage in there. That's all the white fabric. And then that one over there is all of the colored fabric. They're just these little like tiny storage alcoves. The next common question I get is, are you getting work done upstairs? Because people often hear this really loud drilling noise. No, I am not doing any construction projects right now and don't want to. That noise is coming from this industrial sewing machine. It's very old, very loud, and it is a workhorse. It is amazing. Erin and I both have TVs near our sewing machines, and if we have just a fun sewing day, we like to link up Disney movies together. It is the best. I have the best job ever. Okay, next question I get. Wow, I love the chandelier. Where did you get it? Anthropologie. Next one is, wow, I love that gigantic mirror. Where did you get it?
Yep, anthropology. Okay, this video is not doing this justice, but the bathroom area is so stinking cute. And people often like to tell me that after they use it, which is so fun. Yep, it's as girly as can be, just the way I like it. Be sure to look up and notice the bow-themed crown molding when you're in there. This is a tight area. I'm trying to show you. That's the outdoor vanity area. Next one, a lot of people ask about paint colors. This is Sherwin-Williams Dover White, and the whole upstairs was alabaster. The fireplace is Bare New Day. I let Jamil pick that out, our contractor, because I had decision fatigue, and I said, just pick a color. Thank you. And then this fitting room in here is really fun. This is like my secondary fitting room, often used for pickup appointments and non-bridal appointments. This room, a lot of you may already know, was very much inspired by my mom. She's very creative and I just love her so much. She loves yellow tulips. So I had this custom wallpaper made and then had it applied in here with a nice yellow on the bottom. This is the very fun fitting room. And then the other fitting room, I really want to keep more whites just to be more bridal, but I do want to jazz it up a little bit as time goes on. Okay, the floors in here are just a very nice neutral light color. I get asked about that a lot, and I'm really curious how many people actually used it in their homes after telling them the details. So this flooring is from Floor Source. You're gonna talk to Ray. It is called True Core Prime 8mm plank natural oak. And I have some dimensions here, 8.98 by 72. Okay, and that's Trucor, Trucor. Next question. What is your favorite Spanx brand? I do not have one. I am actually anti-Spanx with all things wedding dresses, believe it or not, as they tend to cause more problems than they help. But I have seen other girls really enjoy Skims and Honey Love. I do like the Boombas brand, though, for some corset style wedding dresses for some bust support. I do have a coupon code, Sarah Kolis 10 for 10% off. And for those very tight hip hugging type of dresses that like show every type of underwear, look up the Shark Tank brand called Stringies, Stringyys. Okay, so people often come up to the windows in my studio and just kind of look around while the bride's changing just for something to do. People are always saying, wow, I love your backyard. Girl, me too. It is amazing. I get to see lots of wildlife out there, as I said before, and get to watch their babies grow up in the spring. It is so fun. It's just like a very like in the woods park type of feeling, which I love. Next question. You go to weddings too? Yeah, sometimes it's called my day of styling service, which includes me being there at your wedding, starting in the morning, where I professionally steam your gown, veil, do any little sewing fixes I see that need to be done. I talk to your girls about how to bustle it, if not me bustling it myself, which is great to take that load off the bridesmaids. Any last minute adjustments, emergency fixes that may arise, I am the girl to be there. I will help you with any dress emergencies that can possibly happen and just general styling support. I ensure your gown looks flawless from ceremony to reception. People often ask, do I really need that service? There's a lot that goes into weddings, right? You don't need this service. You really don't, but it's certainly nice to have if you're able to budget for it. I have received really good feedback from brides that I help. I essentially become your personal assistant for the whole day as well. So this is beyond what a coordinator would do that helps coordinate the entire wedding. I am just there as a point person for you and for all things dress related. So it just gives you peace of mind that everything in regards to clothing that day will go nice and smoothly. Next question. So you don't do appointments on the weekends? Nope, I do not do fitting appointments on the weekends. We are very strict on that as we work weddings on the weekends. And if I'm really lucky, I only do sewing work on Sundays as a catch-up day. As with many entrepreneurs, we make our own schedules by trading the 9 to 5 to work 24/7. So it's not that I don't work on the weekends, I just don't do fitting appointments on the weekends. Do you only do bridal? Nope, I will alter anything in the dress category. So mother the bride and mother the groom dresses, flower girls, bridesmaids, the bride's bridal shower dress, rehearsal dress, the list goes on. Anything in the dress category. You can just bring these dresses and or the additional people that go with them with you to your first bridal alterations appointment. You don't even need to tell us in advance. They can just show up. You can just bring additional dresses, no problem. I strongly urge you to try really hard to be on time if you are doing that, just to like utilize the full appointment time slot. Just show up with them and make sure that everyone has their shoes for all of the outfits. For custom dresses, however, we pretty much only do custom bridal and mother's gowns, but are totally open to conversations about others. Do you do men's tailoring? No. I do not have all the proper equipment to do menswear quickly. And to be honest, I really don't want to. girl power, women's tailoring. Another story though, reach out if you have questions. Another frequently asked question, did you alter your own wedding dress? Girl, I made it from scratch. Took 415 and a quarter hours to make. Our wedding was June 8th, 2019. I have 3 sisters, 1 older and 2 younger. The 2 younger ones, Angela and Melissa, recently also got married in 2025 and 2024, one right after the other. I did make all of their dresses as well as their bridal wardrobe pieces. You may have seen me post about them, and I have several blog posts all about that, so check it out on the website. Also, if you were in here waiting for a fitting or you're sitting in the living room area of the studio, I have all these little books just about all these various custom dresses that I've made throughout the years. They're just a little good synopsis of everything. This book in particular is all about me making my wedding dress. So if you want to look at it, look for this book in the studio. I just so happen to have a larger version of that one as well. So I've actually got 2 floating around. But this one is basically a visual diary of making my entire wedding dress. Oh, it was craziness. I had more time back then. Next question, how did you meet your husband? I'm often asking you ladies how you met your fiancés because the stories are so good. But sometimes you come back at me and said, well, how did you meet your guy? And so I will tell you, we were high school sweethearts. He asked me to the homecoming dance when we were 15 years old, beginning of sophomore year of high school, and the rest is history. We met at Nova High School, and at first I thought I would be lucky if we lasted 2 weeks. That would be so much fun. It would be a fun couple weeks, and then you'd break up with me. Well, I was wrong. We never broke up. We dated for a solid 10 years by the time we got married. My best marriage advice is to marry your best friend, and it should be easy. Next question, how long have you been in business? I get that one a lot. Since 2012, but I have been sewing my whole life. While building my business on the side, I actually worked 6.5 years in the auto industry as a trim engineer. Can you believe that? I was an engineer. So crazy. It was a really wild ride. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a whole nother world. I felt like Hannah Montana working at my fun girly business after hours and then going to my corporate, really businessy 9 to 5 in the auto industry as an engineer. Best of both worlds. They're so similar, but completely different. And in 2012, I actually started my business with high schooler t-shirt quilts. And it was quite successful. I used to ride my bike around the different Novi neighborhoods, putting flyers in houses' mailbox that had senior yard signs on their yard. Cringy, but so cute. Humble beginnings. I had to drop that though when getting more into bridal because I truly love that more. And I also learned there are only 24 hours in a day. So something had to give. Next thing people can sometimes bring up is just the fact that COVID must have been just so awful for the wedding industry. People, it was so awful. It was so sad. I get so sad thinking about all the brides that were deprived of these incredible experiences that most people get to experience and be excited for. Be thankful for what you have. It truly was a very sad time. And if you're a COVID bride listening to this, I really hope you get your big day someday. Please have like a 10-year anniversary or 5 years, whatever. Just do something to get that experience someday. I feel really, really bad. Thank God those times are past us. Next question I get a lot, this shelving unit thing is right outside of the fitting room. So people are often just kind of browsing this. And people often ask, what are these little dresses here? These are doll dresses. I do sell these made from the extra fabric from your wedding dress or your mom's wedding dress or whoever. These ones in particular are just examples of mine and my sister's wedding dress. So this one, it's really fun to just have your wedding dress on display without having the full-blown thing. So this one matches my Madeline doll. It is an exact replica of my wedding dress. This one is a replica of Angela's wedding dress. My sister, she has this little, not a doll, but like a stuffed animal elephant, and it's very bottom heavy. Even has a little detachable train that she had. I think that's so funny. And then my sister Melissa's wedding dress, so stinging cute. She has a teddy bear named Teddy. Sometimes I just randomly get people, especially in the end, just like giving me a hug and just having a really awesome moment, just reminiscing on how incredible this experience was for them and for myself as well. I truly love all of my brides. And sometimes I hear people say, I love supporting small businesses. People, thank you. All caps, thank you so much. I was a cheerleader growing up, and the cheerleader energy supporting the female small business community is insane. And I'm so proud to be a part of it. I like to support local small businesses in my own community So thank you, thank you. I do have to say, just from an entrepreneur perspective, I have a lot of people to thank. A big one being Sally Ogden with the Brim. She taught me so much of what I know as an entrepreneur, far beyond what my MBA could have taught me. I do have an MBA, Bachelor of Arts degree from Michigan State University as well. Also, random side note, since I'm showing this view behind me here, this drawing here was drawn by my mom in high school. If you look up close, it is insane. It is a really good piece of art. I'm often doing fittings and just like having a good time, right? And people say, you must see a lot of dresses. Ladies, I do. I do have the best job in the entire world. I'm very biased, but like seriously, this is so much fun. Literally beyond my 6-year-old Sarah's wildest dreams. Not only do I get to do my favorite hobby in the entire world, which is sewing, but I also get to play dress up all day, every day. It is so much fun. I feel like I first meet a bride and I get to see her in her dress immediately, and I can already tell what kind of vibe she has just based off the dress she picked out. It is so fun. And no, I do not see any ugly wedding dresses. It's so funny people ask me that. Do you see any ugly wedding dresses? No, there is no such thing. Even the 80s, 1980s giant poof dresses, I love and embrace so much. There is never a dull moment here. It is so fun. Okay, here's one that doesn't get asked super often, but I'm just gonna throw it in here. People say they love my engagement ring. Me too, girl. Thank you. He picked it out all on his own. I bet you couldn't guess. It is the 2017 Halo era. The unique part about it is that it's rose gold, which also matches my skin tone very well, and it is unique. I love it so much. Okay, quick backstory on this ring. Since my husband and I started dating so young, I did something so silly when I first got my Pinterest account right after high school. And ladies in general, we just stumble upon rings real quick when we get into Pinterest, right? So I screenshot and sent him a few. This is right after we graduated high school. I screenshot and sent him a few ring pictures. And I knew I was way too young and had absolutely no intentions whatsoever about getting married anytime soon. But, you know, a girl's got a Pinterest. So anyway, I sent him 3 photos of 3 different rings. And I also texted him right after, do not respond to this. And he didn't. We never talked about it. But he proposed years later with one of those rings. He said he just did not like the other 2 options, so he just went with the third. LOL. Anyway, okay, next question. This one's kind of sour, guys. I don't know how I feel about it. Would you ever want to be on Project Runway? Yes. I've been dreaming of that since I was a little girl. I have applied, but for some reason, I am just not what they're looking for. I think they're looking for something slightly more exotic and more character personalities made for TV. I don't know, maybe I'm too boring. They're not really looking for a young suburban blonde girl from Metro Detroit. It's just not the vibe. Anyway, if you have any hookups, let me know. Okay, next question. Do you work all by yourself or who works with you? Well, I have a fantastic team helping me behind the scenes. I do a lot of the customer interface with the brides, like that's my main job, but there is a whole slew of people that are helping me be where I am. So if you have sent emails back and forth with us, it was probably with Abby Riley responding to you. She works remote in Oklahoma. Abigail Frank helps with blogs, social media, and other creative projects. She is also remote from Georgia. Haley with Espresso Podcast Productions. Cannot recommend her enough. She's editing my podcast as we speak here. Helps with all editing of the podcast, and she does a great job. This podcast, I'm sure you already know, is called Dressing Up with Sarah Kolis. Erin Connor is my in-person person helping with all things sewing. Between her and I, your bridal alterations are very well taken care of. And she is my right-hand woman for really anything I need spur of the moment in the studio. She is great. And I also love having her just as backup help if I, God forbid, got in a car accident or am super, super sick and I can't help a bride a particular day. So it's great to have that backup, but I am so thankful to have Erin in my life. My accountant sister, Angela, also helps with accounting. My husband, Billy, is IT, handyman, finance, mentor, therapist, and landscaping. He's been trying to quit for years, but I keep rejecting his request. My mom is the first person I go to if I have a design-related question, as well as my Instagram stories. You ladies are sometimes voting. I love it so much. And my dad is the unappointed construction project manager, and he gets antsy if he doesn't have a project to work on, but I try to simmer it down as best I can. The org chart is still up for debate. Something I get asked a lot. You must have a lot of crazy stories. Ladies, I do. Weddings can bring out the best and the worst in people. It's just a very emotional, stressful time. Being a bride, being a bride's family member or friend, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And I have so much sympathy for you. I learned firsthand myself, being engaged, being a bride is really, really difficult for so many reasons. Felt it myself. I have a lot of sympathy for you. I love all my brides so much. I protect their precious hearts with my life. I am here for you. I am doing fittings with you. I'm helping you fit your dress. I'm helping you make decisions on what you need done to fit your dress. Like, let's talk about your struggles right now. What are we working on with wedding planning? Do you need help with anything? Do you need vendor recommendations? How can I be here for you? Or just therapy. I'm good at that too, which I totally don't mind. It's really fun. My number one goal every day and my life's purpose is to help women feel beautiful and confident in their bridal gown, no matter what. Truly, at the end of the day, that's all I care about. If I can play a small part in them enjoying their engagement time, just a small fraction more, boy, am I honored. Thank you so much to all of my brides and their families, past, present, and future. You are the best. Sometimes I just randomly get asked, are you really busy right now? Depends on the time of year. Winter, I am very slow and very relaxed. But especially in June and the fall, I am swamped and probably sleep deprived, yet still incredibly loving my job day in and day out, playing dress up and sewing frilly dresses. What a dream, but it is an extremely seasonal job. So if you're someone that just got married and you're like, I want to work in the bridal industry, just remember it is extremely seasonal, extremely seasonal. We are super, super, super busy, and then we're super, super, super slow. Okay, this is like hot topic, but I realize everyone's intent is very, very kind. I get asked, do you have kids? No, but I have 2 cats, Norma and Oscar. No kids, at least for right now by choice, but maybe someday. Right now, I'm just loving my job way too much. I don't feel rushed. How many brides do you work with? Well, it depends on the time of year. Could be just a small handful in the winter, just like a couple dresses sprinkled on their rack, or a whole long, full, tightly packed rack of dresses in the fall. Next one. Do you do custom dresses? Absolutely. I only take a max of 5 per year, as they are extremely big projects, but they are so much fun. I balance the rest of our work with a lot of bridal alterations and other smaller projects that are super fun. So I genuinely really enjoy alterations. I love, love, love making custom dresses and all the things, but bridal alterations is the bread and butter. And I really, really enjoy it because I get to meet a lot of people, work with a lot of different dresses. And then of course, there is a whole slew of other services and products that we offer as well. But those are the top 2. Okay, ladies, you already know this, unless you're watching on YouTube. Do you have a podcast? Yes, it is the Dressing Up with Sarah Kolis podcast. Check it out. On the podcast, we talk a lot about bridal and wedding industry content, but also just fashion in general. So I kind of like to hit both worlds. Check it out. We often like to interview brides that we have worked with in the past, industry experts, and just general wonderful fashionistas out there. So let us know if you would like to be on the podcast. You can even tell me in person at one of your bridal alterations fitting. You can just be like, by the way, I want to be on the podcast. I'm going to put you on the list so I can make sure that we send you an email, especially in the off season when it really kicks up, to be on the podcast. Okay, here's another one. You have a magazine? Oh my goodness. I know. I must really not like sleeping. Ladies, I live and breathe all things bridal, dresses, sewing, fashion. My brain does not turn off on these subjects. It is truly my life's purpose, and I am obsessed. So to add to the fun and display of a lot of work that I do, I like to make these little magazines. I've been averaging like 2 magazines a year. It's not a lot. But if you're in the studio, these are free. I often put some like by the door. I have a stack right now. If you just see these floating around the studio, also this is like our latest edition here. If you just see these floating around the studio, just know that they're free and you can take them home. But if you are not in the studio, I can certainly mail one to you. Or if you're like a bride we already worked with and you just want the next issue, you can just buy it straight off of our website and I will mail you one. How do I send you photos after the wedding? Email is amazing. hello@sarahkolis.com. Please also give us your photographer's name, your new last name that you want represented, and just say, I give you permission to post these, okay, if you do give us that permission. But please don't ever, ever, ever think that we do not want to see your wedding photos. We really, really do. I get really excited to go through your wedding photos because I spend so much time with you at these fittings. I really want to hear how everything turned out, and the photos are amazing. So if you do give us permission, we would love to post those, maybe even feature them in the magazine, post them on social media, whatever you allow us to do. Even if it's a year past your wedding and you still haven't sent us wedding photos, like we don't care. It's totally okay. We would love to see them. It's never too late. Okay, next question/statement. You went to New York Fashion Week? Girl, I did. February 2022, I showed a couture gown collection, and let me tell you, It was just like the movies. It was amazing. The backstage energy was everything I ever lived for. I have this book. I also have a smaller version on the coffee table or just floating around the studio. So if you want to check this out, it was so much fun. Which leads me to the next question. When are you moving to New York? Ladies, I am not moving to New York. I've never said I wanted to move to New York. I love visiting New York. I love visiting so much, but I would never want to live there. I could never afford what I do here over there. Growing up, a lot of friends and family assumed I would end up there for the fashion scene, but my goodness, it is cutthroat there. And I love the bridal industry so much more than the general fashion industry anyway. And there are plenty of brides in Michigan and the Midwest. I like to think of Michigan as a very homey state. So even the brides that no longer live here very often come back to get married here because their family and their parents are still here. So I am very lucky to be able to help brides all across the country and beyond. I actually made a custom gown for a bride in England once that actually, she got married in South Africa. It's a wild story. But anyway, Michigander for life. Okay, one more thing, bouncing back to New York Fashion Week. Something that I really learned from doing New York Fashion Week is, oh God, everyone that works in New York Fashion Week is so nice. Like everyone is so amazing. The energy is absolutely insane. Like girl power to the max. I loved it. But anyway, everyone I met between the models, hair and makeup, the production staff, photographers, videographers, the help backstage, every single person I met, I did not find one person that actually lived in New York City. Isn't that crazy? So everyone else, just like myself, flew in for Fashion Week. Okay. So I'm not missing out on anything. I can fly in too. It's a quick flight. Anyway, next question. Do you make all your own clothes? I wish. I do make all of my own dresses specifically for sure, but also some other clothes sprinkled in. If I had all the time in the world, I would make all of my own clothes, but there is just not enough time. I supplement with a lot of vintage and secondhand clothing though. Fun fact, this is crazy. Listen up, okay? If you're zoning out, listen up. This is kind of crazy. I have not bought fast fashion clothing since March of 2023. And I hope at any moment that you're listening to this, I have kept up with it. Proud of it. And I am going to keep my streak. I just know far too much about the dark side of the fashion industry, overconsumption. Don't get me started. Anyway, I am a proud, slow fashion fashionista. Where do you store all of your own dresses? Where do I store all of my own dresses? Oh, in my house. And in every closet with an additional big hanging rack full of dresses in our extra bedroom. Believe it or not, I do outfit repeat, but I will also try and turn any social event into a dress up kind of event. I would far rather be way too overdressed than underdressed, and I encourage you to join me. Okay, this question I love getting, guys. This is a good question. You know how to sew, but you look so young. Thank you. Ladies and gents, may these comments never leave me. I am so flattered. But I get your point. I may not be the stereotype. I totally get that. But as of today, I have been sewing for, oh goodness, well over 2 decades. But yeah, I have a lot of sewing experience. Even though I look young, I started so young. Leads me to the next and final question that I get all the time. I answer this question day in and day out. It is, how did you learn how to sew? Not my mother, as many may assume. My mom is extremely crafty. She was the absolute best Girl Scout troop leader and needlepoint guru, kids party planning extraordinaire. And if you are a super close friend of hers, you may receive her adorable handmade Valentine's cards in the mail. She is so creative, so crafty, so artsy. She was actually an art teacher too before I was born. She was a 4th grade teacher and elementary school art teacher. So she is super crafty and creative, and I definitely got that side from her. But my sewing skills first came from my Aunt Diane. She made us all what I called Aunt Diane quilts growing up, and I was special enough that she even made me a few pajama sets and dresses and other things. I remember at a very young age getting up the courage to ask Aunt Diane to teach me how to sew. And I hope I'm remembering everything correctly. So Aunt Diane, if this is off, I apologize. But from my memory, from a very young child, I asked you to teach me how to sew. But you said that my fingers weren't fully developed yet, and we might have to wait a little bit until I get a little bit older. And I consciously remember looking down at my hands and being so disappointed in them. I'm like, why aren't you growing yet? I need you to grow quicker. Little did I know that these things would be my biggest piece of equipment later in life. It has been amazing. But anyway, so I proved it to her by buying a how to sew book from the toy store. It's actually this right here if you're looking on YouTube. I bought this how to sew book from a toy store. and handmade her this strawberry shaped pincushion as a gift. I had other motives because I wanted to prove to her my worth, that she could teach me more, and I was ready. She taught me how to use the sewing machine with making doll clothes for my Madeline doll. Her and I would have sewing camps in the summer on my parents' dining room table. And from there, I was completely and totally hooked. And my parents never got their dining room back for 2 decades. And then I learned a lot on my own. I think everyone that sews, you just have to practice a lot on your own in order to get really good. And I took all the kids' classes and camps that you could locally growing up. My parents did a really good job of not teaching me how to sew, but getting me to the people that could teach me more. And one example would be my mom went to Joann Fabrics once with a bunch of dresses that I had made, trying to prove to them that I should be allowed to sign up for the adult sewing classes because I was getting very advanced. And they said you had to be 18. And my mom was practically fighting with the lady that was telling her these rules. But behind her was Miss Vicky that was listening in. And after that conversation was done, Vicky came up to her, complete and total strangers, but she said, hey, like maybe I could teach your daughter how to sew. So Vicky became my private sewing tutor. And it was really fun. I loved going to her place. I would pack up all my sewing stuff and my sewing machine in a nice carrier. And I would go to Vicky's house and we would have a whole day of sewing together and she'd teach me some really amazing things. So Vicky, thank you so much. I hope you're listening to this, but she taught me a lot about the quality required when sewing clothing. And she still pushes me to this day. I see her at least once a year and it's really fun to catch up with her. So I've had a lot of people that have helped me throughout the years and I never want to stop learning. I still go to sewing expos and classes and like to learn about different things. So I never want to believe I know everything. I know there's always more to learn out there. That was a long-winded version of the answer to that question. I usually keep it a little shorter in person, but here you are listening on the podcast. So there you have it. There's all the frequently asked questions I get asked in person. I'm sure there will be more as the years go on. I don't mind if you ask me these questions again in person. I answer them all the time. It is really fun. I really, really love what I do. And I realize that what I do is very unique and people don't understand it. And I am here to help you understand it a little bit. And weddings are scary. You only wear a wedding dress one time in your entire life. And I am here to help guide you through the process. So as always, if you have any questions on anything, you can email us at any time. Anyway, check out our Instagram page, Sarah Kolis Designs, if you have not already. Website is sarahkolis.com. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode has allowed you to approach the world with greater confidence in your own personal style. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out through email or the inquiry form on the website. I hope you are all ready to go and get dressed up. I look forward to sharing more dressing up tips with you in future episodes. Thanks so much.